Welcome to our show today, and we're in an unusual spot. We're going to talk to an unusual gentleman here. And I told him I wonder if Hollywood's going to be calling after this show. For him, not me. And we're at Green High School in the video production department. And when I walked in and saw the equipment and the studio here, I thought, I'm in the wrong place. I'm at NBC or CBS. But they assured me I was in the right place. And we're going to talk to the guy who makes it all go, Chuck Lyons. Welcome to the Ernie Stadvek Show.
Oh, good morning.
And I happen to be Ernie.
You happen to be, I know you're Ernie. I have watched the show pretty religiously. I actually have it set.
You mean you pray when you watch it religiously?
Religious, yes.
Oh,
I guess
okay.
That's it. No, I actually have it set on my DDR to record, and I watched the show down at the zoo, and I think the last one I watched was a rerun. It was nice. It was summertime. You were down at Lake Ann.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
With
yeah.
the ski club. So
pleasant place.
I watched the show and really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you much. Say, don't clap, just send money, okay?
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Okay.
That's the important thing.
Right. We're going to start off by I don't even know where to start, so I'm going to have you start. What is your exact title here, Chuck?
My exact title is I'm actually a teacher at Green High School. I teach what we call video journalism classes, and that is my official position. I do wear many hats in the school beside teaching classes and working with the students, and been able to develop some different video production programs for the community. And I've been teaching at Green now for the past, I think, 9 or 10 years. I've kind of lost track. This is actually my second career. I was a professional photographer and had my own business for about 18 years, and did a lot of work not only with video but with still photography. And the opportunity came along, and I ended up selling the business, and it's still operating real well, and I help them out now and then, but I was able to get into doing some teaching. And I was over at Coventry High School for about 4 or 5 years, and then I was invited to come down to Green to try to expand their television production program.
Oh, what was your training background to get into this?
I was actually in classes at the University of Akron, and I'm trying to remember what we called it back then. They have different names now, but I think it was like a communications media comprehensive, and we covered radio and TV and editing, and thinking about back in the early 70s. Actually, I was in college back in like 1968 through 72. And the equipment we had was pretty antiquated, and at the college level, what we have now at high school, that wasn't even thought about at college during those years. But I did get a degree in communications media, radio and TV, picked up a teaching certificate along the way. I just never used it for about 18 or 19 years because I started in photography, because that was a real passion of mine. Really enjoyed photography, still enjoy photography. So,
now, what was available here when you started?
Well, when we started, or when I had a chance to come out to Green, I was very impressed, because when they built the new Green High School, probably about, I think it's almost like 13 years ago, they decided to incorporate a studio into the high school plans, because they had a video journalism program at the school that had been operating for several years, but they operated out of almost a closet, a very small production. They produced morning announcements for the school, and the students did some little projects there, but they decided to build a studio. So they did furnish a nice room that the studio was approximately almost like 30 by 40 in size, and then we have a control room that I think maybe we'll get a chance to look at later, and office area. So the facility was really nice. It was kind of bare bones at that time. We didn't have any lighting in, and I was able to search around and call up my friends in the business and acquire equipment. So over the past 9 years, we've really had a chance to grow in this facility and with the equipment that we use. And,
so to speak, pulling a lot of markers, right? A lot of favors?
Yeah, a lot of favors, and I call some people and say, hey, you know.
Put the arm on them, something like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Great.
I don't twist their arm too hard.
That's the way to do it.
But it's been nice. We've had really good growth over the past 9 years.
So exactly what is your function here now with WGHS?
Okay. Well, we have a couple different titles, and that first of all, WGHS is just kind of a phrase that they give, just like WEWS. Basically, stations start with the letter W that are east of the Mississippi River. So that one actually stands for Green High School. So with the WGHS, that's usually what the students use in their productions and things that they produce. And we have video journalism classes that take place every day. I teach a couple classes. We have another outstanding instructor, Mark Warble, and Mark is he is very involved with the students, and depending on which semester it is, he'll have 1, 2, or 3 classes. And we actually have 3 levels of video journalism. Last year, between Mr. Warble and myself, we were seeing about 80 students a day. So we had some students in here for 9 weeks, and then they went to a photography class for 9 weeks, and then we have like a video 2 level where they're with me or Mr. Warble for a semester. Then we actually have a video 3. So there's a lot of students that pass through our door, and we're hoping to give them the opportunity to experience television production, learn something about it, and some of the students actually go on to do that. Our other call letters that we have is a GCTV, stands for Green Community TV. That's been one of my babies that I really wanted to get started here in the city of Greene.
So you were responsible for that one, right?
I am kind of responsible for that one. I worked hard for that, and at the time I came to Greene, there was nothing on the station at that time. The only thing they were doing were showing some city council meetings, but they actually didn't have a station dedicated just to the city of Greene. And I found out that funds were available because the city of Greene, they were very thoughtful in their planning, and when cable TV came in, they decided to set back part of the franchise fee revenue for the development of community TV.
Smart move.
Very smart move. Well, nothing happened, but luckily those funds didn't go into the general fund. There was a certain amount that was set back for community TV, and I found out that that was available, and with Mayor Krogan, who was very interested in developing a program, he and I worked together, and we were able to get a station up and running, Channel 16 here in Greene. That's the only disadvantage, is it only goes to the people that live in the city of Greene. I live in Coventry, so I can't even see.
You can't see. Okay.
What goes on.
Do they subscribe to this service, or is it a free service?
It's a free service through the people. They have to have Time Warner cable because our modulator, or what we call the head-in unit where everything is produced, operates out of our control room, but the connections and that were provided by Time Warner, so we do want to thank Time Warner and that for giving us Channel 16, and that's so we're able to provide a lot of community education and entertainment, you know, to the citizens of Greene.
Now, what hours do you broadcast?
Well, we actually operate 24/7 through the use of computers. And gosh, they work really nice about 95% of the time. And once we have everything programmed properly, there is something on the air, whether it's the community bulletin board or different programs, talk shows, basketball games, city council meetings, whatever.
You're repeating a lot of the stuff that you had on during the day.
Repeat programming. So this way, let's say the people that cannot get out or attend the city council meeting or the school board meeting, they can watch it on TV at different times, you know, during the month, so they'll be able to catch it.
So, say from 8 until 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Can you give us a rundown on what kind of programming you would have?
It changes depending on the days. Usually like Mondays and Tuesdays and Fridays, we try to emphasize school events that are taking place. During the day, we'll be showing the school board meeting at a couple different times. Usually it will be seen in the morning, or you can look at it in the morning at like 10 o'clock. It repeats again at 6 o'clock that night. We will have different events, different talk shows. Our new superintendent, Mr. Wade Lucas, I got him started doing a talk show, so he comes in and does a talk show once a month. Our principal at our school, Gary Geis, he does a talk show where he will bring on students or maybe teachers. Mr. Lucas, he might bring on some different people in the school system, the head of the, let's say, our bus garage, the person's in charge of our curriculum, and he'll just get a chance like we are, just sitting down and talking about what's going on. Our goal is to educate people, to let them understand what's happening with green schools. Last night we taped the Christmas band concert. That's something that's going to be running on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. And we also put some of those entertainment programs on the weekend.
Now, do any of the high school students actually put their own shows on?
Yes, we have some of the students where they will have some talk shows or different feature stories that are taking place, and we will air those. And the students actually do have an internal station that's aired where they're in the studio every day producing basically the school news. And that's broadcast out to all of our classrooms in the school, all 1,450 students.
And Chuck, your students, what is their for the curriculum, for example? A student walks in here for his first shot at your program. What is your curriculum? What do you teach him in the first stage, second stage, third stage?
Well, the students actually will come in on what we call the Video Journalism 1 level. This particular class is 9 weeks in length, and at the end of the 9 weeks, the students will then go over to one of our art classes where one of the instructors will teach photography. So what happens is I will have the students for 9 weeks. They will learn the basics of video production, everything from how to take the camera out of the case, how to put the battery on, how to put the tape in, you know, all the different controls, pieces, parts of the camera, the tripod, and then we have them start to do some shooting, and that's some filming. When we talk about shooting, I have a bad habit of saying that word, but doing some filming, then they will take that film and they learn how to upload that material into the computer, and they learn how to trim those clips, put them together in some form of a story.
Upload is a technical term. What does it really
Basically
mean?
transferring the information they have on the videotape, just transferring it into the computer. All of our editing these days is quite a bit different than it used to be. Everything's done in the computer. So we basically need to transfer it off of the tape that we have and put it into the computer. Once it's in the computer, we can cut it apart, piece it together, put it in whatever order that we want to. We can put music underneath it, we can put graphics on top of it, and so they learn how to do that, and then they also get a chance to work in the studio. I know that the 9-week class right now on Monday, they're going to be doing a talk show, just like we're doing. They're going to get their first experience of producing their own talk show. One of the students will be a guest, or the host will have 3 guests, and the rest of the students operate equipment. And so basically Video 1, they get just a little taste of everything that's going on. And then at the end of the 9 weeks, the students that were in the photo class, they will come to my class, and mine will flip-flop, go to the photo class. And this way it makes up an entire semester. Now for the students that have enjoyed Video 1, a lot of them come in and go, wow, I just really wanted photography, but I kind of like this. I think I'm pretty good at it. Well, if they have at least a 3-point, which is like a B or an A average, and the recommendation of the instructor, they could go to a Video 2 level. Video 2 is going to be a semester in length. It's going to cover more topics on that as far as producing programs, more things that involve the filming, more intricate editing, and actually putting programs together that we can air on cable. And they do a great deal of work in the studio. Usually in most situations, right now we've had to operate our studio on bare bones, and you're up here, I'm here, and Mr. Pulliam's in back.
This is some pretty big bones, I'll tell you, for bare bones.
Right, usually, but usually what we do as far as manpower, when you see 2 of us, there are usually about 9 people behind the scenes that you don't see operating the equipment. But the students right now, they're at lunch, and so we do not have them available to us as we're speaking today. But they learn that in video 2. Video 3 class, so usually, once again, they have to have the instructor's recommendations. They have to have good grades. These are students that we have to really depend on for doing a lot of our work with our community television. It's almost like an independent study. I think of it as going to work. Since I was in the business world, I employed people. I try to treat the students like that. They come in, I have jobs. Here's what I need. Here's what I want you to do. They have to be self-motivated. They have to be reliable. And the big thing is to get the job done. So we have those 3 levels that we break the video journalism up, whether I teach the course or Mr. Warble teaches the class.
Have any of your students moved up, Chuck, into the television world? Or?
We have students that are involved in it. Right now, I happen to be at Akron U. As far as our school that's close by, I was down at Akron U last Thursday night and ran into what we call the Girls of Green. We actually have 6 students down there that are enrolled in their television production program, CTV, and it was so neat. I walked in and I heard Mr. Lyons.
Oh, boy.
And I had a chance to see some of the students I've had in the past. One young lady just graduated. She's working for a company right now doing some work in media. I expect to see her within a couple years being on network TV. There's a lot of students that come out of Akron U that are involved with ESPN, CNN, MTV, a lot of different productions.
Great. Yeah,
one of our students that graduated, I think it was 3 years ago, I had a chance to see him recently. He had the opportunity, well, he's been doing some intern work with different production companies, and he's had the tough job of running camera at the Ohio State games, filming, so he's been doing that.
Is he still in this area, or?
He's in Pennsylvania. The school he goes to is in Pennsylvania, but he'll drive down to work with the camera crew, and he got selected to work for I think 3 or 4 days out in Las Vegas with the show Dancing with the Stars. He followed Wayne Newton around for about 3 days doing some filming behind the scenes that they used on Dancing with the Stars. So a lot of neat things are happening to the students that are going to some of the different schools, and a lot of times I have no idea that they're actually majoring this. This particular gentleman I didn't even know was still interested in doing this, and he came back and told me what he was doing, and it's kind of neat to hear from him.
It's an interesting, exciting business, isn't it? And also teaching, you get a feeling of fulfillment when you see your students move up and move into things.
Yes, it really is. That's that bonus check that we never see in our mailboxes. Our bonus check is to see what's happening to our students. That is really exciting to see what they do after high school when they come back and they tell you some things. Just like I had no idea that this student Josh was so involved doing this TV work. He didn't mention that it really interested him as a career when he was in class, and came back, and now that's what he's doing. He said, "Oh, it's because of, the classes I was in at Green High School." And so that's really neat. That's the rewarding part.
That's the description of the tremendous description of being called teacher. It's gone way back into the guy who inspires kids, young people to go on.
Have so many adults saying, "Boy, I wish I could be there doing that. I wish I could be there." And I don't think the students realize sometimes how nice they have it, and to have this kind of a facility and the tools to work with. And adults do, because they're going, "Boy, we sure didn't have this when we were in school."
You're right. Now, is there any movement toward a community thing, like community courses, like they have the Portage Lakes?
Right. I've had people talk to me wanting to do some teaching, like for video production, for digital photography. I actually taught some classes a few years ago in photography for the University of Akron, the continuing education. There has been talk about that. That might happen at some time. The big thing right now, just not enough hours in the day to get everything
well, you're not
done.
doing enough,
It seems
why sleep?
Right, I know. It seems like I'm at school here about 2 to 3 nights a week with some event going on, filming or doing some photography work, try to get it out on the community channel.
Well, your overtime, that's really must mount up.
Oh,
then.
yes.
Oh, boy, time and a half after
Time and a
40
half.
hours?
That's
Boy,
right.
oh, boy.
Oh, it mounts up. That's right.
Great. You've got, you can see where your attitude, your approach to it, you love this type of work.
Well, I do. That's the thing. If I didn't enjoy this, I wouldn't do it. Because I didn't start out teaching, I was in the business world, I think I take a little different attitude toward it. I never even think of teaching as much as sharing, because I get excited. You know, anything new that comes out, and whether it's with the video cameras, and I know our producer, Ray, and he gets excited about his equipment, and he will call me and he tells me about this, and I'll tell students about some of this equipment. So I just like sharing my knowledge. I guess that's what teaching is, but I just trying to hope that they can see my enthusiasm for it, and hopefully they can get enthusiastic. That's a big thing I ask them. I don't expect everybody to, to go into this as a major. I just say find something and get a passion for it. You know, enjoy what you do. Read. You know, just get a passion for something.
That's a great message to pass on to kids, young people, adults even. Many people have this, people that retire.
Right.
And they immediately want to quit. Right. Or they sit down to become couch potatoes, but they can become excited about something like this. Right. I've got 5 boys, 4 boys and a girl, and my number 2 son is a coach. I got so many, I got to number them.
Yeah, that's right.
He's a coach, and he would not ever do anything else. He said, I'm in the right place. I've got my number 4 son. Yeah, that's my number 4. Okay. He is out in California. He and his wife have been in a number of movies, been on General Hospital, Bold and the Beautiful, and he also wound up buying my company from me, which was fine with me. And now I work for him just part-time. And he has that same attitude. He must have gotten hold of a teacher like you that inspired him. And these guys want to do what they want to do, what's interesting. Right. And boy, you really put a message across right there about that. Shows the passion of your life.
Right. Well, and I think especially in high school, we try to get across the idea to the students, to try something. I had a sign hanging up in my room, and that for years until it fell down, it says, you never know what you can do until you try. And they come in and they say, well, I don't know how to do that. I said, well, there's one way you learn, and that's by doing it. And they say, well, what if I goof up? So? I said, don't worry about it. This is community television. This is high school television production. It's about hands-on. And I want them to just try. You never know what you can do. And sometimes they surprise themselves. They go, oh, well, that wasn't too bad. I got through. I got through it.
Yeah, wonderful.
And I said, that's fine.
To stretch themselves.
Right.
It's a wonderful thing.
Right, and that's what school is about, is providing a space to work in, providing the tools to work with, and having teachers, and whatever you're teaching, whether history, English, television production, whatever, teachers that are enthusiastic and knowledgeable about their area, and they get the kids motivated, then not to do everything for them, then self-motivation has to kick in.
Well, the idea is you're a motivator.
Right.
You sound like a motivator. You got me motivated.
There you go.
That's great. That's great. And you've earned the title of teacher. I think there's no greater profession. Because you've got to take care of the young people coming up. Right. And if you can show them, and you obviously have, show them what they can do. Right. What is the oddest thing that ever happened to you in this type of business? Profession, not business. You're out of business, right?
Yeah. Oh, gosh, we've had, I would say that the biggest thing that happens, the more technology we add, the more equipment that we add, I would say the strange things that happen is that stuff breaks down. And that the more you add, there's more stuff to break down. And we've almost every day, it's constantly, we're getting ready to do a show, we're supposed to go on the air in 5 minutes and something's not working and you're trying to reroute and trying to figure out what to do. Probably the toughest one, and I remember we were filming a football game many years ago, and it was a homecoming game. It was a big game of Green against Wadsworth, and we drove down to the stadium when we didn't have a production truck to work out of. I had my Blazer with some hauling equipment in it, and I pulled it up and we put all the equipment out. So one of our young ladies, I still remember Eva, was the technical director, and she's sitting back there. Well, a storm came up. Luckily, I had a tarp, and I stretched the tarp between a fence and my Blazer over top of us, and we were able to get the cameras under cover, and we kept filming the game, and water's running off of the tarp all around us, mud everywhere, and I'm worried about the electronics. I'm worried about just the electric coming out to us with all the water, and it was pretty frightening. But we got the game, and we won that game.
You hung in there, didn't you?
We hung in there, and it was quite a downpour.
That old Vince Lombardi thing, second effort, right?
Right, and I mean, this is where we were filming, and it started raining, and while we're still on the air and still producing, had to come up with things to try to keep the rain off of us. So. That was one interesting experience. I remember that very well.
I imagine that made an impression on you. Now, what is the funniest thing? I mean, off the top of your head, I know it's a tough question to answer. I asked that of a lot of people, and they kind of go blank. But you are so eloquent. I'm sure you can come up with a funny one.
Oh, a couple times when we were filming, in fact, I think both times were Christmas programs, and one time there was in fact, this was actually when I was at Coventry producing some shows there, and we had the camera on one student, one little guy, probably about 8 years old, and all of a sudden I go, where did he go? Well, he walked right off the stage and to the floor. There's about a 4-foot drop. And he just kind of disappeared, and we couldn't figure out what happened. Luckily, he wasn't. That happened, and another time, there was a grade school student that actually did something very inappropriate on stage. And at the time, we actually had big video screens on each side of our stage, and we had this student projected doing something that was inappropriate, and that had projected on these 10-foot screens for mom and dad in the audience to see. And I remember the principal coming out of the audience, crawling up on the stage and grabbing the student and pulling them off. This is while the production's going on. So there's something funny usually going on, every week.
Well, you should write a book.
Maybe someday. In my spare time.
In your spare time, right.
In my spare time.
Now, was that signal our time up?
No, that actually was just some music. You probably hear some music kicking on in the background. It's actually one of our pre-recorded shows that's actually airing on the cable TV right now, going through. So we have all the time in the world. Okay,
very well. You're the most interesting guy I've talked to in a long time.
Oh. I guess I just can't shut up sometimes.
No, that's great. Keep talking.
Well, I did want to say something about the development of the community TV program. That's what's kept us going. We've had a very, very good relationship with the city of Greene. I think it's a wonderful idea where you have the school system and the city working together. They're the same. The school is one of the most important ingredients in the city, and learning to work together and share things. We've been able to develop the studio. When they were and we were in the talking stages with Mayor Dan Krogan about developing this, I sat down and I said, we have a studio. We have quite a bit of equipment up there. We just need to upgrade. We need to get things fixed up, and let's do community TV. And so we're able to operate out of the high school here, and with the funds that the people basically pay in franchise fees, and that we are able to buy some of this equipment that we're able to produce these shows to put it right back out to the community. That's the most important thing. We want to get entertainment and education back out to the community. So it's been a real good relationship between the school, and there's a lot of community TV stations around. They have them at North Canton. They have an excellent program out in Wadsworth. They've been up and running for like 26, 27 years. They actually have 4 full-time people, a couple part-time people that work for the city that run their TV. Right here so far, we have like nobody is full-time, and that I try to do some work for them part-time in between teaching classes. I do not have a full teaching schedule because part of my day is made up of working with the city, working with the school system to develop these programs, and I have about anywhere from 6 to 8 students that we employ, that we actually hire them. They can make a little extra money in filming some of our governmental meetings, our school board meetings, and we try to put together what we call our GC, Green Community Television crew, to cover these monthly meetings that go on. So we've grown a great deal in the past 3 years.
Well, so actually there's only 2 full-time staff members here. You and the other teacher?
Right, Mark Warble and myself, and we're the only teachers. And between teaching, we try to keep the community bulletin board, which are the local announcements people send in. We try to keep that up and running. We try to program all the different TV shows that go out to the community, and I try to schedule the students to be at places. Hopefully, they're where they're supposed to be on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock.
So you're really the program director also?
Yeah, kind of the director of the operations, yeah. And the repairman sometimes too, always something to repair.
You don't do windows too, do you?
Don't do now.
No, okay.
I don't. That's why I don't do windows.
I shouldn't even suggest that. They may ask you to do that.
That's
huh?
right, that's right.
Well, that's great. Well, thanks a lot for being with us, Chuck. I'll tell you, I really learned a lot.
That's fantastic.
And when I came in there, I told Ray, who's now running the cameras here for you, that I'm just really looking forward to talking to this guy because I'm going to learn something today, and I sure did. And remember now, you're a member of Captain Ernie's Flying Club. Uphold everything. Whatever it is, just uphold it, okay?
Okay, will do. I thank you very much. It's been great being on your show and having the chance to talk with you today.
It's my pleasure.
Okay.